Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Van Horn and this is another Dragonheir Silence God video. Today I'm back with my account because we are finally able today, if you've been keeping up with the content as it opened, to sort out one of the mystery of Season 4, which is the champions from the Epic Selector box available from Fey or Pillar, which was one of the surprises devs have for us for Season 4. Usually for all the previous 3 seasons, when you reach certain points in the progression, being Fey level 60 and I believe also Pillar level 60, you will be able to select a champions to get a defined champions that was available from there. While in Season 4, as you can see over here, if you jump in, when you get to level 60, you get an epic selector box over here that I've been able to collect this morning because the content was opening today. And so we're going to be able today to see what champions is included in that box, and so draw some conclusion on what is available instead on Pillar and what is going to happen with the Mythical selector box, because most likely it's going to apply the same system that you're going to see over here. Now, the 2 champions that are available in Season 4 from Pillar and Fey and Pillar, we don't know which they were because they are the only 2 that are not available in the pool at the beginning of the season. So it's easy to recognize them and get a feeling of what champions they're going to be. One is Per over here, and she's an amazing support champion with a unique kit that is going to be able to help you in many places. She has a cleanse passively of all champions on the field for 1 debuff. She can remove 1 buff from the boss. She can place healing prohibition. She can place block buff. She has a battle skills that is basically useless for bosses but more for progression, but she's a very good champion in many places. The other champion is Neja. She is an amazing DPS for the Ice Blast. She has crit damage aura, a passive very common to all the Ice Blast champions that repeats the battle skills twice. The battle skills basically deal the cold damage to enemy every stack of ice crystals she has, as she has a max HP damage included too, which is not more than 200 the attack of the champion. So she does a lot of damage with that skills, to be honest, and the ultimate skills gives increased attack for herself, and she does a lot of damage with the skills too. Probably on par with Gertin, if not better, from the testing we've done so far. I'm gonna link some video at the end of this one, so don't worry, you're gonna see all them in action too. But those are the 2 champions there we knew were available from Fey and Pillar, and so having the first chest box today from Fey makes it that basically we know by exclusion which one is where, and we can draw some conclusion about the mythical artifact too. So let's get to my backpack, let's get to the epic selector box over here, and let's see what is in there so we can now finally unsort the mystery. Let's use the box, and as you can see, all the champions available here are those that were available on previous version of the Fey. There's no surprise, to be honest. It would have been silly for them to just give us an epic selector box that gives every champion in the game. These are the only champions that obviously we could farm from Fey, and so it makes sense that it's sort of a catch-up mechanic. If you haven't been able to finish any of the previous version, you can try to get them too. If you don't need a DPS, I'm arguably saying that she's the best champions of these 4. Goom has some utility as control. It can be used in Season 3 for the Tempest domain that needs control to take away basically the damage reduction, but in Season 4 we need debuff, so you kind of lost a bit of that good ability in the Tempest domain. And yes, you can use it for the epic section of the labyrinth, so when you have to use only epics, it's a good control champion, but there are other options for that, and so I don't feel like we necessarily need this champion. Gelid is kind of meh. I don't even remember what the kit does because try it on test server and it's very forgettable. Vex is interesting because she has a block buff on her ultimate, so you can time it and use it on many bosses that try to put buff on you if you need an extra buff. She does decent damage, but she's a melee champion, and those are very difficult to keep alive generally. And Neja instead is a range. Ice plus DPS, she can complete your team if you've been very unlucky, not being able to pull Gertin. To pair with Bladin, for example, if you have an epic only team, it's a very good team, and I think you should consider picking her up. I'm gonna actually get her because, well, it's the only champion I don't have, and so it's the only way I have to get this champion too, so no doubt I will get her. But it's a good thing that they brought this mechanic, because I think this will give us an opportunity when it comes to the mythical artifact selector box. There have been many artifacts so far that are very useful, and if you have not been able to finish Fey and Pillar in the previous season, you might miss out on some of them. And this means that if you don't like this season artifact, you can go and pick some of the previous one, which are probably going to help you when it comes to the end game and next seasons, because obviously by the time we get to the mythical artifact box, we're going to be pretty late in the season. You're not going to use that to basically defeat the stage 9. You hopefully have those down by the time you get there. And so a way of seeing them is to get here on the exchange and go to the season shop, because if we change this one to the next season, basically the shop for the end of season 4, you're going to see that we had the previous champions over here with Utiur gone because it was available in the season 4 shop. Now we're going to have Ardrit and Aladia to pick up if you don't have them. The River Tricks, the Everlasting Diamonds, the Globe, and the Key, which are all of them really decent. The River Tricks is really good for epic and rare DPS to give them a lot of attack and keep them alive, because it gives HP as well when in battle, and it doubles the effect on epic and rare. So it's a very good one. The Everlasting Diamond is HP and enlightenment, increasing the healing. So for any healer you have, it's really, really good. The Globe, give a shield, recovery over time, when you drop below 35%. Can be useful, HP, very high HP when you're wearing this one. And you take less AoE damage, so it can be good on your tank, for example, in protection. I have a place in the game, to be honest. I don't think it's a dominant mythical artifact, but it can be used for sure. And the Key instead give you a ton of attack, and at the beginning of the battle increase all allies damage by 15% for 20 seconds. This is very useful when you try end game to basically burst the dungeon down and do some very quick run on everything. And it's also very good probably for arena. If you have something like Daphne and Asphaltum, you obviously want to get out of that fight as soon as possible because you have a squishy team, and so that artifact comes very handy. But we also know that there's going to be these two artifacts, which are the one available for Fey and Pillar this season. We still don't know which one is, but we can safely assume that that box is basically going to contain all the previous River Tricks, Fey Meander, and all the previous Pillar artifact. Not all the artifact like someone was hoping, but as you can see, some of those artifacts are really useful. And so let's have a look at the new one so you can understand also what to expect, even if we don't know exactly where they're going to be, because obviously we need to get there and open at least one of the chests to know which one is from where. We can assume, I guess, but that's not what we're doing over here. Defense and HP percentage for the Bottle of Luminance. When an ally HP falls below 40%, heal them by 15% max HP, which is very similar to the Globe. And their skill take effect up to 4 times, only once every 20 seconds. I think this is kind of a downgrade from the Globe, because this one gives you recovery over time instead of the 15% install heals when you drop below 35%, but it also gives you damage reduction, and it doesn't have a cooldown. So if you heal back every time you go down, you get the HP recovering. I guess this one is only on you and that one is on the team, but nevertheless, I don't see much use for this one, to be honest. I think you're always gonna bring a deep healer in the team, and so you're gonna rely mostly on those heals. And there are more artifacts useful to put on a healer, like the Everlasting Diamond if you need extra healing to keep your team alive, the Horn if you want to push more damage. So I don't see this really being so dominant, but you give also an option to pick up one of the old one if you want to, and if you want to avoid this one. We never really know how the game evolves, so we don't know, for example, what is useful for the end game boss, and so maybe this artifact is really good. I don't know yet, but on paper, face value, I don't think it's that impressive. The Chest of Radiance instead give you HP and attack percentage. I don't like on when they mix them up, to be honest. I feel it will be nicer when they are more aligned, but you can keep with HP, you can keep one of the DPS more alive. When the team activates 3 elemental affinity, all allies gain up to 5% attacks and defense. And when they activate 5 elemental affinity, this buff, it's double. So it basically gives you 10% attack and 10% defense. Now this one is incredible, and from the testing on the test server, is actually better than the Horn, because the Horn give you 15% attack basically when you are healing the team, and you healing up to 3 times, you get your increased attack, you increasing your damage, which is good, but is only when you're healing, and then the rest of the fight you don't have it, and it doesn't really give you any survivability. This one instead is bringing 10% defense on top of the 10% attack. 10% defense and attack are permanent, so your team is always stronger and takes less damage, and you do more damage. So if you're running something like, for example, Shadow, it does damage very, very often. This is arguably much better because you always have that increase attack, sort of increase attack, mini increase attack up. And the increased defense is going to make your run go longer, and so you can do more damage. This is definitely an upgrade to the Horn, and I'm going to be looking out to get this one as soon as it drops, because yes, it's very, very good. It's a very good one. And this is everything really. The shops, as you can see, we can gonna get Adrit and Ladi, as we said. We're gonna have Calavera if you're now being able to snatch it. It's a good improvement, but to stick to the subject, Fey and Pillar, well, we still don't know exactly what artifact is gonna come from where, but I will suggest you to keep up with the content as soon as they open if you can, because the rewards are always good to be picked up as soon as they open. Late game, they are very less valuable in general, and so in 5 days we're gonna be able to get Pearl from the Pillar, and I'm looking forward honestly to get that champion, and I think most of you should as well. She's probably more versatile and useful for all your account, and if you want that to make up your mind and get maybe that extra push to farm this content and get those champion, I'm gonna link the 2 videos up on the screen now for the 2 champions that are done before. And this is everything for today, guys, and I'm gonna see you soon with another video about Dragonheir Silence God.